welcome back. In this video, we're going to go over basic layouts, right? I'm currently in the app builder, and we're going to be showing you how to drag and drop elements in the page and get them to fit however you want them to fit. All right, so let's get started. All right, so I'm going to go into the left panel, into the elements tab. I'm going to just drag in the div. So I'm going to assume that you already know how CSS works and just some basic CSS styling for this tutorial. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just make this, let's call it 20%. And I'll go ahead and give it a height of, let's say 150. Or let's just make it 250 pixels. Or 350, why not? All right. So here I have an element that I've just dragged and dropped on the page. Let's say I wanted to have maybe make this element a card with, let's say, an image, a title, and a paragraph, right? So all I need to do here is understanding the box model. I can just drag in, let's say, my image tag, if I can find it, right here. All right, so now I've dragged in an image. All right, perfect. I make that, let's see, change the heights, let's say 25%. Let's see, 40%. What did I do? 240. All right, 40%. I'm just going to go ahead and center this. All right. The goal of this tutorial is not to get perfect styling. It's just to show you how to lay things out. All right. So I'm going to go margin left, margin right auto, margin left auto. All right. I'm going to go ahead and just put some spacing at the bottom of this. So right here, I'm just going to put some margin at the bottom of, let's say, 20 pixels. All right. I'm going to go ahead and drag in a heading. Put it right here. As you can see, my heading is taking 90% width, and there's that space. I'm going to go ahead and center this, or I'm just going to make this perhaps 100%. And I could center my text. To center my text, I could just use the align to center it. Let me switch this off from a H1 to a let's say H3. Change the wording by double clicking on it. Say some header text. All right. Also put some margin at the bottom. All right, so say the margin at the bottom of the text, call that another 20 pixels. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and drag in that paragraph that we spoke about earlier, put it underneath. And let's see, it's a long paragraph. All right, so here what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove the height of the outer elements. That way the inner elements, fit. All right. So let's see. Make this 100% width. We have some scroll here. All right, I see that. I'm just going to go ahead and in the outer elements, just remove the overflows. All right, easy enough. All right, so I have, let's see, change this to 20% height for my image. Well, it doesn't factor in anymore because I removed the height on the parent, so it just takes whatever it wants. So I'm going to change this from percentages to pixels. All right, so I'm just going to say, call it 100 pixels. Perfect. All right. So here I have, a decent looking card. So, this is basically how to lay things out. What if I wanted to, let's say, duplicate this card, right? And I just click on the outer elements and hit Control right. I have created a duplicate of this card. But you see, it's basically laid out one on top each other. What if I wanted it to be side by side? All right. For this, I would have to use a CSS Flexbox. To accomplish this, I'm going to go ahead and drag in another element, this time a div. All right, so I'm going to put my div on top of the first element. All right. I'm going to give this a temporary height of, call it 200 100 pixels. I'm going to give it some styling here. I'm going to change the display to flex. I am going to say I want to space things between because I want one card at the end and another card at the other end. All right. So now what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to drag in my first card in here and then the second one as well. To drag the card, I could basically use the hierarchy view, or I could just drag it from the outer elements. I'm going to click on the div 2, slowly drag it into my div 4. I'm going to do the same over here. Just drag this all the way here. So now I have this. If I can just get rid of this height, then you can see both. All right. So now I have it here spaced between. What if I wanted to say put some padding, right, to make it look better? I can put some padding on my outer elements. Let me just give it a padding at the top of, let's say, 10 all around. 10 pixels, 10 pixels, 10 pixels, 10 pixels. All right. Now, what if I wanted to say, let's say I wanted this to be, call it, let's say I wanted this to have maybe even space around. I could just select that option. What if I wanted it centered? I could do that as well. So basically, the whole point of this video is to show you how to do some basic layouts. It is almost like what you see, what you get. You can drag and drop things where you want them to be. But we also have this powerful CSS builder to help you like hone in on that design. So this is going to be a bonus section. I'm just going to make this have some layouts based on some responsive design. So far, in this, our example, our two elements are side by side in the desktop view. But what if I were to go to the mobile view, all right? And I wanted them to be, let's say, top, bottom, all right? This is going to be simple. All I need to do is get rid of the flex when I'm in the mobile view, all right? If I went to, let's say, display block, right? It's automatically gets rid of the flex and the flex configuration. All I can do here now is, let's say, go to the outer elements, remove the 20% constraints. Let's say if I gave it like 95%, right? And let's say if let's go ahead and center this. So let's say margin right, auto, margin left, auto. Give it some margin at the bottom, call it 20 pixels. And let's go ahead and do the same for our other card elements. Get rid of the 20% constraints. I think I gave the other one 95, right? Yes, 95 width, 95 width. I'm going to go ahead and center this as well. Give it margin left, or margin right, margin left of auto. All right. So here's my layout for the mobile view. All right. So when I switch to the desktop view, I have a different layout. When I switch to the mobile view, I have a different layout. And I accomplished all of this by simply dragging and dropping and styling as I go. All right, so this is it for basic layouts. You can go, a little more advanced data-driven layouts, logical layouts. And we'll cover a lot of these concepts in the future videos. But that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one.